All right. So what are we talking about?
So, Jim, I thought we'd kind of warm up the audience before we get into the podcast with a special Jim and Stu show
Uh-huh.
discussing times. Times they are a changing, Jim. Changing fast. You
Yeah.
better get ready. You better
Yeah.
get ready. But what do you have to really get ready for if you think about it? Right? Are we getting ready for all the changes that have occurred throughout society with post COVID relaxing issues? Is it AI coming down the pike and consumer purchasing power and habits and methods? Are those going to change?
Wow.
What's a workplace in the next decade going to be like?
Wow.
You
These are
know,
some weighty questions, Stu.
yeah.
This
But I
is
always like to look at these type of questions because it kind of helps me figure out my next 5 to 10 years as I
mhm.
try to create a business model plan to address some of these changes that are happening.
Well, Stu, I think it's time to go to the board because, ever since I was 4 and figured out that chalkboards were a cool place to pretty much just express myself, it might be a good idea. And I want you to think about change like this, and then we're going to talk about specific stuff, okay?
Okay.
Um, Change doesn't happen in a straight line. Change happens in a series of ups and downs. And this area right here is actually the point of fastest change because this on that little curve is where you have what's called geometric progression. This is where we are right now with a whole bunch of stuff that you just mentioned, post COVID, and a whole bunch of social things going along with that, a whole lot of economic changes going on with that, inflation, interest rates, credit, all that stuff. And if you haven't felt that yet, you will. We got technological development, specifically AI. We also have some other social stuff with we're not going to get in too much with, but in the area of spiritualism or religion, people go to church less now than ever since there was church. Um, Whole bunch of stuff with breakdowns and changes in social norms that we may or may not agree with, but they're happening. And
Sure.
it seems like all this stuff is happening all at once. And we also have a media that is, we call it what? Mainstream media, online media, that
Social. Yeah.
social media
Yep.
that are all trying to do one thing, and that is to get you to react in order because they make money when you react. When
Sure.
you react and you click on stuff, share stuff, pay attention to stuff, look at ads, do all this other stuff. So we got all kinds of change going on, and we have media that just wants to make you react. And is it any wonder that people are freaked out all the time and feel very uneasy all the time? I saw an article. In fact, I speed read an article before we got on here. I've got this nifty little browser plugin that helps me read at about 450 words per minute. And the gist of it is all these over 1,000 tech leaders. I don't know where the hell they get 1,000 different tech leaders for, but I mean, they didn't call me, so it wasn't 1,001. But everybody from Elon Musk to the guy who co-founded Apple Computers, Wozniak, a whole bunch of people are saying that they need to pause all this AI stuff for at least 6 months and start evaluating the social and economic impacts that AI beyond GPT-4 is going to have. Now, isn't it interesting that they don't want to put GPT-4 back in the bottle, but anybody else, you know, don't do it. But they want to evaluate, what this is going to do to people's jobs, what it's going to do to society. There might be bias built into this thing, Stu. What?
What?
Yes.
I was thinking that, Jim.
And here's reality. It's not, the genie's not going back in the bottle. No one's going to stop just because these guys are like, hey, y'all ought maybe to think about this. It's out the bottle. People are making it. They figured out how to make these AI models that can rival ChatGPT on a single laptop. Now, granted, it's a
Damn.
beefy laptop, and it's it can rival it. It's still got a ways to go, but dude, it's not going back in the bottle. None of this stuff is going back in the bottle. And that would be like people back in the 1800s saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. We got all these guys making their living on the Pony Express and driving these 20 mule wagon trains, hauling, stuff out of the salt flats. And, there's all these buggy drivers and stuff, man. I don't think that railroad's a good idea. Don't be running that railroad across the country now, because that's gonna mess stuff up. Or, hey man, got all these people making their money shoveling horse shit and feeding horses and taking care of horses and stuff. I don't think these cars are a good idea, man. Or, hey man, you got all these people making all their money with these roadside gas stations and these fruit stands on all these local roads. Take it easy there, Eisenhower. Might want to rethink this interstate highway system thing.
Yep.
Or, hey, got all these people that are making money as farmers, might want to rethink this whole industrial revolution thing. I mean, you can look back through, hey man, got all these people that are making all their living being columnists and writing for local newspapers, might want to rethink this whole internet thing, man. Or, hey, got all these people making money as printers and as door-to-door salespeople, might want to rethink this whole online marketing thing. Or, hey, guy, it just goes on and on and on and on and on. And what happens is when stuff, see, this is what happens when you actually get a degree in history, like
Oh
real
yeah.
history, not revisionist history, but like real history, and
I agree.
understand, how things work. When one thing shuts down, other things open up. In that gap, there's a huge period of upheaval where a whole lot of people get really pissed off and a few people make money. And you want to be one of the people who makes money. Now, are there a lot of people who are going to get displaced by AI? Absolutely. People who write crap copy, people who write crap content, people who do stuff that is repetitive and really doesn't add a whole lot of value. It's just going to happen. It's happened
Yes.
throughout time. All right. And what everybody's prognosticating is going to happen is probably about 20% right. Remember when everybody said, hey, when the PCs come out, we're all going to only have to work 2 or 3 hours a day? I hate to say this, dude. I work more now than I've ever worked. Now I'm having fun doing what I'm doing because I love what I'm doing. But the computer led to more work, not less work.
Yeah, it added to more productivity
Right.
because we're all working the same. We're just getting more done.
But if everybody's being more productive, then you better really be paying attention with the computer. It's
Yes.
like, when everybody, oh, if we can just get minimum wage at 15 bucks an hour, we're all going to get rich. No, all that's going to do is just shift the pricing of everything to cover your 15 bucks an hour, and there's still going to be the strata on the pyramid that Earl Nightingale talked about in his program Lead the Field 50 years ago.
Yeah.
So the bottom line is that change is here. Change is in a major acceleration phase in every area of our lives, technologically, spiritually, politically, financially, all that stuff. But there is one word that can help you manage all of this change and be able to adapt and be able to instantly do better than other people who don't identify with this word. And that word is serve. You have to serve a specific audience of people. If you have a job, you're serving an audience of your boss. If your boss doesn't like you anymore, you lose your job. If your boss doesn't need you anymore, you lose your job. If the boss mismanages the company, you lose your job. But if you serve an audience of people and you help solve their problems or satisfy their desires, and as long as you evolve ahead of them so that you can keep serving and solving problems they don't even know they have yet, satisfying desires they don't even know they have yet, then you're going to do just fine. But if you don't start serving and adopt the service mindset, not the servant mindset, but the service mindset. The servant's mindset is not the mindset you want, but a service mindset where I am serving others. I am enriched by serving others. I am enriched, like Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough people get what they want, you're going to get what you want. And so service, being of service to a specific group of people and charging a fair price is how you can, and evolving is how you can adapt and overcome any change that happens, even through the worst of times.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was, what are your thoughts, Stu? I've talked a lot.
No, that was right where I wanted to go with this. And you'll be happy with this next thing that I'm going to say,
Hmm.
because as a history major, you are. One thing I like to do is when I'm looking at the next 5, 10, 20 years, and when you're in the technology revolution, 5, 10, 20 years is 100 years compared to prior revolutions,
Hmm.
right? So, I mean, think about it, like 150 years ago, there were horse and buggy, but there are people who were alive that, saw automobiles come into play, and before they died, we were on the moon.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a remarkable amount of change that occurred. And I think we can all argue that is for the better, right? That has been for the better,
Mhm.
more worse than the worse, right? So I like to look back at the last 20 years and how I have changed personally because of the internet, and how we have changed as a society because of the internet.
Hmm.
Sometimes those make sense, and they align each other. But if you take a look, like what made the internet useful back in 1999, 2000, what made the internet useful was search. If you take a look at all of the major websites now, major businesses now online, they have their own internal search that enables them to do business better, right?
Right.
So it might have been, we'll start with Google, which came a little bit later than this, but
Right.
Google reprograms search.
Right.
Now
And
Amazon
and
is a
and
search engine.
up until social media, the most valuable company on the web was Google, which was all about search.
Yeah,
So bringing order out of the chaos. I'm just supporting what you
right.
were saying. I mean,
Yeah.
that the
Oh,
single most valuable company was
bring an order out of the to the chaos.
right,
Exactly. That's a great way to frame this, because that's what's going to happen here.
right.
And and now Amazon is a big search engine. YouTube is a big search engine. Even social media. You type in a hashtag, that's a search engine. You just
Oh yeah, yeah,
found,
yeah. Yeah,
you
Instagram.
just yeah, you just found a way to find, the stuff that you're looking for.
Yes.
Um so that made the internet available, but what didn't change was the way we do business, and like your service mindset back there, right? That all stayed the same. We just evolved to sell online, do more work online, have a digital product versus a printed product. So little things like that. And if you look at the big picture, those are just the little things that evolved to make us where we're, I think, even better today. if you take a look at AI on the same mindset, it's like, what is going to make AI work best for all of us, right?
Yeah, the R
Being
word.
a being able to take all of that data that AI gives you and make useful information, right?
Yeah. I mean,
That
and ultimately the R word, ultimately be able to get a result, because it doesn't do you any good to have access to all that stuff if you can't use it to get a specific result that's useful to you.
something I also saw that I thought was quite interesting, and bear with me on this one. I read an article about somebody who was working with AI and they designed a CEO. Asked
Mhm.
asked AI what a CEO was.
Mhm.
And 99 times it came out as an old white guy,
Mhm.
right? Well, I guess you did AI art or something, a picture of a CEO, and it was always an old white guy.
Mhm.
So then the question was, by all the folks that ask these type of questions, like philosophers, right? Is AI racist? Right?
Okay.
So that was the question posed. And I was like, no, you're completely missing the point of what AI is doing. AI is sifting through all of our data and producing feedback on that data.
Right.
It is giving feedback on us. It is the ultimate judge of what we are doing online. Right?
To a
Does that make
to a
sense?
to a degree, and in some
Yeah.
cases it's also the ultimate kid screwing off, coming up with if it doesn't know an answer, it'll guess and hope you don't catch it. So that's part of it as well.
True.
But I'm with you. I mean, all it is just take that. That's the thing with GPT. Generative pre-trained transformer, I believe, is what GPT stands for. But it's like it's only generating stuff based on what it has seen. It's not
Yes.
intelligent. It's a predictor based on the past. And somebody asked, that's so based on the past, but you can't live in the past. You also can't live in the future. You got to live in the present. You learn from the past, you prepare for the future, but you live in the present, and and operate in the present. So I think that's a great point. It's like, based on the past, yeah, that's what a CEO looks like. But based on what's going on now, based on where we're going in the future, that's not what a CEO looks like. It's not what a CEO looks like now. It's not what a
Oh
CEO
no.
looks like in the future. But I
Yeah.
I I also want to say that I had somebody asking here, um, I don't know who this was, but I'm curious what AI will do to the perceived value of expertise. Supply and demand suggest everyone will be an expert with AI output might reframe what people value. Um, Let me ask you a question, Stu. If you really want to get good at something, what is the best way to get good at something? Anything.
Practice that something.
Do it.
Do
Okay,
it.
do it.
Yes.
And if you really want to get good at it, what's up, Craig? Um, Craig's a thoughtful dude. Now I understand that question as well. Much more the subtle nuances of Craig's question because I know Craig. Um, but Stu, if you have
Yes.
a problem, what is the fastest way to have your problem diagnosed and fixed and be able to move on? Is it to go on the internet, or is it to go to a coach or go to a person and say, "Hey, dude, I've got this is what's happening. It hurts when I do this. What's the fastest way?"
You need professional feedback.
Right. Now,
Yes.
let's talk about something that's very, very important here. And that is, and kids, if you haven't heard anything else we've said, pay attention to this, okay? Everybody wants to get a result. And that comes down to solving a problem or satisfying a desire. I'm going to tell you what, Stu, we should be charging for this. Okay, we're solving the world's, we may not be solving it through good spelling and penmanship, but by God, we're solving it other ways too. So here's the thing, expertise. What is expertise? Well, it comes down to the difference between information and wisdom. So information is a commodity. Information is what ChatGPT kicks out. Information is data. That's all it is. That's all this AI stuff does, okay? It kicks out data. Wisdom is data or information plus experience plus results, because a lot of people get some experience, never get results because they give up. Wisdom is data plus experience plus results, which can then translate hopefully into helping someone else get results. Because it's one thing for you to get a result. It's one thing for me to get a result. It's one thing for my friends and family to get a result because I can put my hands on them. It's another thing for people who've never met me to be able to get a result with my coaching and teaching and all that good stuff. Okay. But this is why ChatGPT is never going to replace the person who serves, because information is a commodity. The information superhighway actually has a better organizer now than Google, and where with search, where you kind of put in your thing and you got a bunch of stuff and you still had to wade through it all. Now you got a real smart little thing that'll wade through it all for you and kind of give you the result that you want. Is it any good? Does it make sense? Is it valid? Is it biased? Great. Also, it's a first draft. It's up to you to edit it, polish it, distribute it, okay, to put the value into it. Just like the $15 an hour minimum wage just kind of raised the floor. So everybody's making 15 bucks an hour, but then everything else got raised too, as far as prices and everything else. Everybody's right where they were. Relatively speaking to everyone else, even if you're now making 15 bucks an hour, you are still relative to everybody else right where you were before all this crap happened. So now people are going to be starving even more for people who have wisdom. I'll give you a good example.
That's great.
You got all kinds of asshats running around right now selling you. The biggest one I've seen recently was a guy selling 1,000 GPT prompts. I'll show you 1,000 ways to use ChatGPT to do this and this and this and this for 37 bucks. I was like, well, crap, I'll buy it. So I was looking through. It's absolute crap. Absolute crap. And here's the thing. The reason it's absolute crap is because it's data. It's not wisdom. This isn't someone who has spent 1,000 hours with ChatGPT and with GPT and all the different large language models over the last 6 months. This is somebody who just put together some crap, threw it out there, and is trying to make money in the middle of the gap. That's data. Wisdom is data plus experience plus results. This is going to be more important than ever as every chucklehead and their brother comes out. And you've heard the thing about keyboard commandos. You've ever heard that used? The people who have web balls. They act all tough because they're behind a webcam and not even a webcam, but behind a keyboard and stuff. Now you're going to have people that are GPT smart. Well, if everybody's GPT smart, then that just actually raises the floor, but it also raises the ceiling. So you got to remember that more data doesn't make you an expert. It just piles up more horse crap in the corral. At some point, you want a real cowboy who knows how to ride the horse and rope and do the cattle and do everything else. Okay? So anyway, that I kind of went off there, but I feel strongly about all this stuff because I think it pisses me off when I see people on the news who know nothing about what they're talking about scaring people and just trying to make people react.
Yeah. I mean, I have found it to be another very useful tool to make my content that I
Right.
use in business. 100%. And yes, it's a first draft, but you know what it also has been? It has been a source of research for me as well,
Yes.
because I can type in, something similar to like I would type in at Google, but it comes out at a different level of polish. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
Like if I'm looking up knee injuries, right? I can go to Google and learn about 10 different knee injuries, right? But when I put it into uh the genie, or to yeah, that's what I use. I use the genies, is I get some very well written paragraphs on knee injuries,
Right.
which will further direct me to go look up a certain thing that they just mentioned that I did not think of.
Sure.
Right. So it's just another useful form
But
of
if you think about it,
finding answers.
it's
Yeah.
shortcutting
Oh, absolutely.
the search, the research you used to have to do, but you still then have to know how to know whether this stuff's right or not. You still have to be able to know whether it's valid information. You still have to know within the context of serving the people that you're trying to help whether or not this is useful or it's just piling on more crap. That's so it's just shifting what your effort needs to go into. Before, it was 90% of the effort was creating the first draft and 10% the polish and the edit and then the distribute. Now you can do about 80-20. 20% is in the creation, 80% goes into the editing, the polishing, the adding of the value and stuff.
Yeah.
You that's and if anything, that is more valuable. That is a more valuable thing for all of us to be doing. It is not super valuable to spend all your time trying to come up with that first draft. Now, here's another thing that GPT can never do that is tied directly to what we're talking about here with this stuff. Here's another thing that wisdom produces, okay? Opinions and stories,
Mm.
which are, I'm not going to say this right, uncopyable. Those cannot be done by GPT. And when you are serving the people want to know what you think. They want to know how you've used this. They want to know
Yeah.
not what you researched, but when you're actually living it, doing it, breathing it, eating it, they want to know what you think. The
I love
only
it.
reason any of y'all are paying attention to us is because, well, I mean, we're fun and exciting, and Stu's good looking and in great shape, but it's because you want to know what we think. You want to know how we feel about this. AI is not going to do that. And again, you're going to spot the GPT commandos here. You already can. So and it's also going to shift what we emphasize moving forward.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't make all your money with courses and stuff, but you use courses to bring people in, and there's more emphasis on coaching and one-on-one and one-to-many type coaching and other things like that. Because I mean, I said this 6 months ago. Everybody and their brother is going to be coming out with some kind of AI software. Why? Because you can go to Fiverr right now for 150 bucks. You can find somebody who will create a front end for you that plugs directly now into the Chat GPT API. You can do it. Go to Fiverr, put in Chat GPT API, whatever, and you'll find everybody and their brother on 5 continents who will set it up for you for 150 bucks. Big deal.
Mm.
So what? Still got to know how to use it. Then you got to take what it is and turn it into something. what we do with the genies is we make it faster and easier for you to get the result that you want to get and know that it's good. I don't have AI software. I have a time machine, because I'm going to give you back those hours you're going to spend wrestling with ChatGPT.
Oh, I love that.
And so, I saw somebody in the comments, so and so's giving away lifetime access to his AI software. Big deal. Who cares? So what? I mean, that's the thing. GPT will give you free lifetime access to free ChatGPT when you can get into it.
Yeah.
The great thing that's happening is the cost of it has gone down more precipitously than I've ever seen ever. But still, when there's mass confusion, the person that brings order out of chaos is the one that everyone will gravitate to. So if everybody and their brother's giving away free access to their whatever, good, take it. Take their free access. How much do you value something that's free? And if somebody's giving stuff away, how are they actually going to have the time, energy, and attention or ability to keep pouring value into it and making it valuable for you? They're not. So the whole world is going to be full of these little chat GPT things. So what? I don't care. Go ahead. If anything, it'll make people thirstier for something that actually will help them get a result.
True. So what do you say we do a little demo on one of these genies after
Okay.
we've talked about our AI processes and how we're using it to,
Uh-huh.
create, not only just create great content, but
Uh-huh.
saving time.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And how much time did you save?
Okay. Well, let me ask you a quick question, Stu. Do a little demo here for the kids at home. I guess we're transitioning over into the Jim and Stu show, or from the Jim
Or
and Stu show to the
podcast number 190.
podcast number 190. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Jim and Stu podcast, to the Sales Copyright and Content Marketing Hacks, episode 190. We are about to do a demo that's going to blow everybody's freaking mind. I mean, you want to see the kids jumping out of their seats screaming, me, I want it, I want it, I want it. Okay, Stu, you do a little
Yes.
speaking here and there, little
Mm.
little things like the National Strength and Conditioning Association convention, and speaking
Fun
to the
times.
future SEALs of America and all that good stuff. You do some speaking.
Yes.
I think you do events virtually, like, I don't know, 5 times a week. You're
Yeah, I do a
always
lot.
on.
I do a lot. Yeah.
So stick with me, kids. If you do any kind of presentations, from webinars, lunch and learns, mastermind sessions, whatever it is, in the next 15 minutes, am going to show you how you can go from a single word to an entire presentation to all of the promotional materials you need for that presentation in less than 15 minutes. Because, Stu, when you do some sort of a training or a webinar, I want you to tell me what's the very first thing you got to have in order to promote a webinar?
Some an audience to promote it.
No, we assume you have
Okay.
an audience that you're doing
Okay.
this for you, okay? So first thing you got to do is you got to have the training,
Well, yeah.
okay? Then yeah. Okay, but you got to have the training. Typically that also means having some sort of a PowerPoint. Now, you also have to have an opt-in page, right?
Sure.
Okay, which means you also have to have a thank you page. All right. Once you have the opt-in page and the thank you page, do you need to send any emails out
You bet.
inviting people?
Sure.
Sure. In fact, you need 3 promo emails. In a product that we created called Fill My Webinar Scripts, my buddy Dean and I identified, here, let me zoom in on this. We identified that you need to send at least 3 promo emails. You also need to send 2 reminder emails. You also need to send 4 replay emails. You also need to generate at least 3 social media ads and at least 3 tweets. This is the minimum you need to do to create and promote an event. Now, let me ask all of you who are watching this, and I'll ask you, Stu, how long does it take to put all this stuff together?
That takes a very long time, Jim.
Okay. Give me like honest, and in the comments y'all tell us too.
Yeah.
How long would it take you to create the training, including the PowerPoint, the training framework, and the 3 promo emails, 2 reminder emails, 4 replay emails, 3 social media ads, and 3 tweets? Minimum, how long would it take you? And I don't want to see anybody say, "Oh, I could do that in about 30 minutes."
No. I mean, that would take, I mean, really to do it well, it would take me all week
Okay.
to put all that together, organize, and not lose my mind, doing it.
Okay. So it says 1 week. What if I could get you a first draft for all of this stuff in about 15 minutes?
Yeah, that's insane.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's exactly what we are going to do. And we're going to use a combination of genies to be able to do that. Vicky said um it would take 3 days. So long with a lot of S's. Somebody else said 3 days. I mean, y'all tell me how long it would take you. It's you tell me. So the first thing that we are going to do, I'm just going to show my screen here in just a sec. I want to get to the right spot. But the first thing that we're going to do is we are going to create a framework for a talk. And you know what? We're going to do this for Stu. So do you have anything coming up anytime soon, Stu?
I am redoing all of my
Yeah, I'm not worried about
uh
redoing all that stuff. What I'm talking about,
oh,
do you have any talks coming up that you need to do?
I don't have a talk, but I have a Spec Ops triathlon on Saturday.
Okay. Are you going to
So,
do any kind of a
yes.
talk for the guys, like a
Yep,
little 15-minute prep thing?
absolutely.
Okay. So what would be a word that was important to them in an acronym sense? And we'll do new, and I'm going to load your Spec Ops candidate uh, avatar. But
Yep.
what's a word that we could use to build this around?
Well,
Like,
this is all about endurance.
okay, so let's do endurance. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm putting in, we're going to build everything around the word endurance. Okay. So style of content, I'm just going to we're going to say Entrepreneur Magazine. We're going to say inspiring, and we're going to do beginner. So now we got aspiring special operations candidates. Do they want to crush their fitness test, or
Um,
what do we want to do?
no, they
Really want
want
to?
to see, this triathlon is a run, swim, and ruck.
Mhm.
So it's run, swim, and ruck fast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what's another immediate result they want? Get ready for
Um,
selection.
yes, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah. It's why we do it.
okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have it generate an acronym, and then we're also going to have it generate. So energize, develop, unwavering resilience, apply necessary conditioning, excel.
Hey, real quick, you got to spell endurance right to make this really
Why?
work.
Why? It works without it spelled right, dude. That's the beauty of it. That's like basic fact checking. I'm just saying, that's
Okay.
that's where the human has to come in with the AI.
There you go.
Because,
There you go.
there you go. All right. So let's have it write this for us. So elevate, necessary, determination, unceasing routine, agility, nimbleness, consistency, endeavor. So when we hit the endurance thing with this, it's actually going to write us an article, and we're going to actually use that article as the framework for creating your speech. All right.
Nice.
So it's actually doing it. So exercise, nutrition, dedication, unwavering, resilience, attitude, no excuses, consistency, effort. I like that. I don't care.
I can talk on all those. Yeah,
I,
absolutely.
dude, I know you can talk on anything now. I mean,
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
you've been doing this forever. So we'll have it
Yeah.
give us some headlines. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to download this as, and I should have told somebody to time us, but I'm going to download this as a Word doc, and I'm also going to download this as a PowerPoint deck. And then I'm going to open up the PowerPoint, and I just got to switch the screen that I'm showing it. And I'm going to that's the one bad thing about this is I gotta keep switching back and forth to show. So this is the one it came up with. I should have asked you which one of those headlines you liked best, but I
Just
think
pick one.
we're just going to do this
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my title, and then this is a quickie. If you guys are interested, someday I'll teach you all my cool little PowerPoint tricks um, to be able to do this stuff super fast. But I'm going to turn each one of these into its own little slide, and then you would be able to just turn all these into the actual talking
Boom.
points. But I would just go through and turn each one of these into a talking point, maybe take it down. But right there, we have basically created our, I mean, what is it, 11 slide deck, okay? So now I also downloaded this as a Word doc. And I could be going a lot faster if I wasn't having to stop. So, okay, so we're going to choose a headline. It was the fourth one. So now I have the framework for my talk. That's a framework. When you create a talk, your framework, it's an outline. So
Sure.
now we have the framework for our talk. I'm just going to copy this. We're going to come back over and use a different genie. We're going to use the event promo genie. So we're going to come over here, and we got tons and tons of genies in here, but we're going to go to the event promo genie. And we are once again, we're going to do new project. And what this is going to do, let's see if I got my spec ops. Guess I don't have that one shaved. I got it saved in the other stuff. Okay, that's okay. We'll do this real quick. When are you going to give your talk? Is it this weekend? What's the date?
April 1st.
Okay. And it's at the
Community Center.
what is it? What's the exact name of
Severna
it?
Park. Severna
Severna.
Park Community Center. Yeah.
All right. And our avatar is a spec ops candidate.
Sure.
This is where having it in there makes
Yeah.
us even faster. And result they want is you can now run, swim, and ruck faster to get ready for selection.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, this is where the cheating begins. Yay. So the main points we're going to cover, boom, we just paste in what we made with
Ooh.
the acronym genie.
Nice.
Now, what's the title of our talk? We've got that done. All right. Purpose of the event is to get spec ops candidates ready for selection, help them increase their swim, run, ruck times, give them practical experience. You agree with that?
Yeah, I like that.
Okay. Would you say if you didn't?
I would add on to it, but
Okay.
that is sufficient.
Stu Smith, former Navy SEAL. All right. Background, former Navy SEAL. You're the current Spec Ops coach at the U.S. Naval Academy, and you're #1 best-selling fitness author. Okay, that's it. So now I'll just choose writing voice. I always do active writing style. I want to do, let's do persuasive language, concise, and second person speaking directly to them. So whether you believe it or not, Stu, we're about to write all those things on the board. I don't know if somebody's been keeping track of the time, but let's write our landing page copy. So the first thing we got to do is come up with the landing page so that people can register for this online. Then if we want to, we can take a polished pass at it. And while we're looking at it, we'll have it write our confirmation thank you page copy as well. So look at this. Gain endurance for special operations selection, your guide to success. So here's your pre-headline. Don't miss your chance to get ready for spec ops selection. Headline. Gain endurance for special operations success. I would change that to, I would change that a little bit.
Yeah.
Joined former Navy SEAL former Navy SEAL Stu Smith and learn how to increase your swim, run, and ruck times with endurance. I like that. Learn from a former Navy SEAL how to exercise for spec ops selection, discover the importance of proper nutrition, develop dedication and unwavering commitment, gain resilience for mental strength, master the attitude and effort needed to pass selection. Join Stu and learn the secrets April 1st, Vernon Park Community Center, presentation, register now, don't miss your chance. So write your thank you page. So it's setting all of the expectations and
Wow.
resetting the big payoffs. So let's write a promo email. It'll write 3 promo emails, including the 1 hour one. It'll write a reminder email. It'll write a replay email, and it actually will write all those emails, but we'll give it a chance to catch up. So here's your first pre and promo. Gain endurance for special operations selection. Dear Spec Ops candidate, are you ready to get ready for selection? Former Navy SEAL Steve Smith is here to help you increase your swim, ruck, and run times and give you the practical experience you need. Hey, that's a fancy way of saying he's going to beat the snot out of you on Saturday. Stu will present in Gaining Endurance at the Severna Park Community Center. In this presentation, we'll learn about exercise, nutrition, dedication, resilience, attitude, no excuses. I might, this is a great first draft.
Oh yeah.
So don't let this opportunity switch away, or whatever. Then here's
Yeah.
one for 60 minutes. Reminder emails. So the people sign up, you got to remind them to show up. So got your replay stuff. So if you filmed it, you could show it to them. It's going to write your social media ads. Now, the cool thing here is that other software, when it says, hey, we're going to write 3 ads for you, basically just writes 3 versions of the same ad. But what we do is actually write ads based on different parts of the
Yeah.
of what's important. So the first one's about the
Notice
big
that.
idea. You ready to push your limits and become a spec ops candidate? Stu Smith will share his expertise on gaining endurance for special ops selection, learn the secrets. And then this one is, do you want to run, SWIP, and run faster to get ready for spec ops? So, and then this one down here is, are you ready to take your spec ops training next level? So they all lead with different things.
Whew.
So what did we do? Now we can download all of this stuff. Okay, so we can download the landing page copy. Actually, let me do it in Word doc because it looks cooler in Word. But nah, I'll do it in the text because then I don't have to switch. But I just downloaded all that stuff and show you. Hmm. All right, it doesn't want to show you my It doesn't want to show you my
Your folders.
nah, it didn't want to show the no tab light for whatever reason. I don't know why. Good to know though. But here, zoom in. I just downloaded all the emails that we asked for are all right here in this one folder. And what I'm going to do later on today is I'm going to create a whole enchilada option so that you can download every single thing in one file, because I hate downloading individual files. But
Oh,
you
that's
look,
awesome.
we wrote 1, 2, 3, 4. We wrote 4 emails. Professional copywriter would charge you $250 a pop minimum. We just made $1,000 by not spending $1,000 to have those made. And so what this genie does, and I don't know how long that took, but I think it was about 15 minutes. And if I hadn't been running my mouth and if I was just doing it, I would have been done a lot faster.
Yeah,
But
we started right before the 40-minute mark.
so here's what
So
you need to understand what we just did, because it went so fast. We took a single word. We created a framework for a speech, for a talk, for a training. We created the PowerPoint slide deck. We then took that framework and we created the emails to promote it. We created the landing page to promote it, the thank you page. We also created the replay emails. We created the reminder emails. We created the social media ads to promote it. And we created tweets to promote it. All in less than 15 minutes, we were able to get those first drafts done, and they're good. So what does that mean? Instead of you spending a week trying to come up with your first drafts, in about 30 minutes, you come up with the first draft of everything, and then you spend your time doing the tweaking, the editing, and then getting ready to actually distribute and deliver. Does anybody think that that was cool? Anybody who's here with us live, in the next year, could you see yourself having to do some sort of a presentation, a webinar, a live, a lunch and learn, a mastermind session, a training session, a coaching session, and seeing how that would be able to help you to get it done and promote it and get a result? Just curious in the chat if anybody, it's got anybody excited. And then the last thing I would say is, you ain't going to do that with ChatGPT. ChatGPT is, no matter how much you beg, is not going to kick out a Word doc with the stuff all done and formatted. It's not going to kick out a PowerPoint slide deck with everything done and formatted. And every single time you sit down with that chatbot, you're going to have to recreate everything and start all over from scratch.
So what have you done, Jim? You have organized the chaos.
Exactly.
Just like my Google machine
Yep.
does with the internets.
Yeah. It's all about creating organization from the chaos, but it then goes back to what we said in the Jim and Stu show. It's all about serve. It's all about serving the people to help them get the result that they already want to get. In his book, Tiny Habits, I think BJ Fogg is the guy's name. I'm trying, my little fogging my thing, but he had a line in there that I actually turned into my own little poster. It says that we help people do what they already want to do. And I was like,
Yeah.
if you want to be successful, help people do what they already want to do. What, Susan? What were you saying?
So I was looking at a comment
Oh,
and somebody asked about something.
okay. All right, cool. I figured you would know that quote. That's why, anyway. Okay. So no, this is not part of Funnel Scripts. This is not going to be part of Funnel Scripts. Funnel Scripts is what Funnel Scripts is. Funnel Scripts was created around Russell Brunson's first 2 books. Funnel Scripts was created to help you write copy the way that Russell Brunson wants you to write copy, to exist in the ClickFunnels world following what he teaches in his books. My genies are based around my book, Copywriting Secrets, and many of my other books that I have written and been selling for over a quarter of a century. So that's the difference. And that was a great question. Somebody was, does your genies use your copywriting book as a baseline to generate copy? The principles I teach in the book obviously are baked into the genies because I made the genies. So there you go. I'm excited. So
What software is this, Jim? Did you want to answer that one?
I don't know. I have an adult back here that's trying to help me. What?
Yeah,
My
sounds sweet.
my
Thank you.
my handler. You're like my handler.
I'm not
Okay.
doing a good job.
Okay, Susan. What do you want me to do?
Tell them what software that is that your book is
Where can you
promoting.
find this software,
Oh,
Jim?
CopyandContent.AI. You can get on the I don't know what the heck. CopyandContent.AI, and you can get on the wait list. Jump on the early bird list. The official launch date. We're going to start the quote unquote launch on the 10th. And then we are going to open the cart early for early bird people with special, basically a 48-hour bonus thing just for people who are on the early bird. Never to be repeated, never to be, it is what it is. I love all the things that come in the help desk about everything. My parrot developed some sort of zombie disease. I'm sorry. When that, if you want the best deal with the best bonuses, with the best everything, go over to CopyandContent.AI and jump on the early bird list. Stu, we got to go, dude. Stu and I teach every month in CopyandContent.AI for the elite members. We do 2 really cool workshops. One's called Turn Content into Traffic. The other one is genie hacking, where Stu shows you all the stuff he uses the genies totally improperly, but creates amazing results. So we have to go and do the turn content into traffic right now. So we appreciate y'all. Thanks for joining us, and go over to CopyandContent.AI and jump on the early bird list if you haven't already. Talk to y'all soon.